Okay, so this is the Aloo Gobi cauliflower preparation. So I'm getting canola oil and just pouring that kind of on top. You can go with a little bit because I'm cooking a vegan meal. You add all your fat. So unlike when you're cooking with meat, all the fat gets comes off the top and you throw it away. In our case, you pretty much put in the fat and you eat it all. So all that oil is actually good for you. You need it to survive. And then I'm just stirring that up. So I just basically, I don't know if that can, so you don't want too many of these things to fall all over the place, especially in a situation like this where I'm not actually, normally I'd do this over a counter that's a bit easier to clean, but camera just works better over the stove right now. But you know, just flip it around a few times. You want to absorb all the oil, and also it's really important to kind of cover everything because this is going to go into the oven. This isn't really, I've never seen anybody else make their Aloo Gobi this way, but I really like the caramelized flavor of the oven roasted cauliflower. So it's a touch that I've done. And, you know, I've talked to people about how to make Aloo Gobi, and I've watched other cooking shows about it. But this is kind of my own recipe, and, you know, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I like the flavor, and it seems to go well with the people who eat it. All right, so essentially I've now covered all of that in oil, and then I'm going to get the bigger pieces and lay them out, and I'm just going to try and let the smaller, like the greebly bits, fall to the bottom, and if I get too many small bits I just throw them back in, hopefully in a place that I won't end up picking them up 3 or 4 times. But so all of that, pull out the big bits. So I don't know, that pan shows up. So this is a very well seasoned cooking pan that I use for this kind of work. So if I'm making pan fries or something like that. And you know, if you're doing, I'm going to chop up potatoes later for the Aloo Gobi, but you can basically do the same thing I did with the cauliflower with the chopped up potatoes and oven roast them, and they're just incredible. I tend to do wedges, like to go with hamburgers and stuff. So I don't do that as often. But so now we've also got all of this little stuff here, and I'm actually going to put that in with the potatoes when I start cooking the Aloo Gobi, because they don't really, these are going to carbonize rather than caramelize if I put them in with the bigger pieces. So there's no real need to, you know, put those in because they're kind of wasted a bit. The carbon isn't particularly good for you, whereas the caramelization is really where you're getting the flavor from. All right, so just quickly wash my hands. And now the oven is still, oh no, the oven's pretty much perfect temperature. So I almost always habitually use a cloth when I open the oven. And then into the oven. You have to judge your own oven, top rack, bottom rack, how bad it will caramelize, how well it will caramelize, and other aspects. All right, so that is the cauliflower preparation, and now I'll move on to the potatoes.